You didn't just stumble into this moment. Something higher has been pulling you forward, unseen but unmistakable. The path has been quiet, maybe even hidden, but not to him. God has been watching, not from a distance, but with the tender gaze of a father who sees what no one else does. You've been measured, not by success, but by surrender, not by perfection, but by persistence. That silent act of choosing patience when pride was easier, that moment when you forgave without being asked, those tears you never let fall where anyone could see them. He did. He caught every single one. Psalm 56, verse 8 reminds us, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle." What the world overlooks, heaven treasures. And here's the mystery. It's often in the smallest acts that God sees the greatest faith. Like the widow who dropped 2 coins into the temple treasury, unnoticed by most, but celebrated by Jesus. Her offering wasn't about the amount, it was about the heart behind it. And that's what God sees in you. In a world obsessed with doing more, being more, proving more, the kingdom turns everything upside down. The last will be first, and the first last. Matthew 20:16. Your hidden obedience, your unseen worship, your daily yes to God, that's where heaven leans in. You've been thinking you're falling short, but perhaps you're exactly where God wants you, trusting Him without applause. That takes a faith deeper than noise, a faith forged in silence. And in that silence, something holy has been happening. Not performance, transformation. Do not despise these small beginnings, Zechariah 4:10 says. For the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. You are the work He rejoices over. He's not waiting to love the future version of you, Zephaniah 3:17 declares. He will take great delight in you. In His love He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Imagine that. The Creator of the universe singing over you, right now, as you are. Not when you have it all together, not when you finally feel worthy, but here, in this exact moment. You may have walked through storms that never made it into anyone's prayers, fought battles no one praised you for winning, but God saw. He still sees, and He is not disappointed. He is delighted. Your journey isn't invisible to Him. It is sacred. And maybe, just maybe, this moment, right now, isn't about fixing anything. It's about seeing everything differently, through the eyes of a God who never stopped loving you. There are wounds you carry that no one else sees, silent burdens, invisible scars. And yet, you rise. You keep showing up. You keep choosing light when darkness whispers louder. This isn't ordinary resilience. It's sacred courage, the kind that echoes in heaven. You may never be praised for it here, but heaven notices what the world forgets. You see, the kingdom of God is not built on applause. It's built on faithfulness. Every time you loved when bitterness would have felt easier. Every moment you extended grace when anger came naturally. Each time you whispered a prayer when no one was listening. Those are the battles heaven records. Your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Matthew 6:6. That's the kind of faith that shakes eternity. Not loud, not glamorous, but real. We live in a world obsessed with visible success, but God doesn't measure in numbers. He measures in nearness. The parable of the talents wasn't about who earned the most. It was about the ones who were faithful. "Well done, good and faithful servant." Matthew 25:21. Faithfulness over performance. That's what God values. That's what He sees in you. I met a woman once who changed my life without knowing it. No fame, no title, just a quiet life spent caring for abandoned children with nothing but her hands and her prayers. When asked if she ever felt invisible, she said, "God sees. That's enough." Her words struck me like thunder, because in a world chasing validation, she had found peace in being seen by one. And so have you. Maybe you don't feel strong. Maybe you go to sleep most nights feeling like you failed. But God calls that fight. He calls that faith. And He leans in, not because your prayers are polished, but because they're honest. Isaiah 66:2 says, "These are the ones I look on with favor, those who are humble and contrite in spirit, and who tremble at my word." That verse is not for someone else. It's for you. God is not waiting to be impressed by your strength. He's already moved by your surrender. You've walked through valleys that others couldn't have survived. You've held on when it would have been easier to let go. That is not weakness. That is holy endurance. And maybe the hardest part hasn't been the pain itself, but the lies you believed afterward. That you were too broken, too inconsistent, too much. But none of those voices speak for God. In John 8, when the woman caught in sin was dragged to Jesus, He didn't shame her. He didn't walk away. He simply said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." John 8:11, He saw her, not through her past, but through mercy. That same gaze is on you now. Psalm 145 says, "The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. His tender mercies are over all His works." You are one of those works. You are not a disappointment. You are His. Transformation doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like staying when you want to run, trusting when it doesn't make sense, walking through confusion with your eyes still on Him. You haven't gone backward. You've been becoming. You may not realize it now, but something sacred is happening in you. Not loud, not obvious, but deep. Beneath every silent prayer, every act of mercy no one else saw, every decision to trust God when you didn't feel Him, something eternal has been forming. You might feel cracked, fragile, unfinished. But 2 Corinthians 4:7 tells us, "We have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." You may be that jar, chipped in places, overlooked in others, but within you is treasure, real, living treasure. Heaven never asked you to be flawless, just faithful, and you've been that more than you know. God isn't waiting for the future version of you to show up. He's already moving through who you are becoming now. You are not a mess to fix. You are a miracle in motion. His joy over you doesn't shift with your performance. It's rooted in your identity as His. Romans 8:16 declares, "The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. And if you are His child, then you are not walking alone. You are loved, led, and carried." You might be tempted to measure your growth by accomplishments, but God measures differently. He sees the shift when you choose gentleness instead of reacting. He honors the moment you pause in chaos to whisper, "God, I trust you." He sees that late-night decision to forgive when bitterness felt easier. These aren't small, they're sacred. In fact, Zechariah 4:10 reminds us, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Let that verse be your reminder. Progress in the kingdom isn't flashy, it's faithful. When you begin your day, let it start with surrender, not striving. No fancy words, just a quiet offering. This day is yours, God. Shape me through it. 1 Kings 19 tells us that God wasn't in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. And He still speaks that way. As your day unfolds, the kingdom often comes in quiet decisions. Choosing love when irritation wants to lead. Offering grace when justice feels justified. Pausing in a storm to ask, what would love do right now? Proverbs 15.1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." These soft responses are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength, anchored in heaven. When your day ends, don't ask, "Did I get enough done?" Instead, ask, "Did I choose love? Did I grow?" Maybe you gave someone your full attention when your mind wanted to run. Maybe you caught a fearful thought and spoke truth over it. Maybe you just breathed deeply and didn't quit. Celebrate that. Heaven does. God isn't looking for headlines. He's looking for hearts that stay open. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is show up again tomorrow. When fear tries to rush you, come back to short, honest prayers. Jesus, be near. Father, still my heart. These are not filler words, they're lifelines. Psalm 62.8 invites us, "Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge." And when you make space to be honest with God, transformation begins. You start to walk not for approval, but from it. You start to protect your peace, not to hide from life, but to honor what's holy. Philippians 4.7 calls it the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. That peace doesn't just comfort, it guards. It shields your mind and heart when storms rage. When you serve from that place, from love, not from pressure. Let unseen kindness be your offering. When Jesus said in Matthew 6:3, "Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing," He was showing us the power of hidden obedience. Heaven sees what the world misses. And when you end the day, crawl into that quiet space with God. Don't edit yourself. Tell Him where it hurt, what you carried, where you saw Him, and where you felt alone. You're not giving a report to a boss. You're talking to your Father. And in those moments when your soul is bare and your words are few, that's where He meets you. These rhythms, whispers, restraint, surrender, truth-telling, they aren't religious rules. They're sacred habits. And slowly they shape not just your day, but your identity. You're no longer striving to be worthy. You're living as someone who already is. That's what divine favor looks like. Not ease, but intimacy. Not perfection, but presence. And right now, that favor is resting on you. Not someday, today. You've endured the silent seasons. You've prayed through silence, walked when you didn't feel carried, and stayed when leaving felt easier. And all that unseen obedience, it's not forgotten. Hebrews 6:10 says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him. The kingdom is not built on performance. It's built on persistence. You might feel like nothing's moving, but underneath the surface, something is shifting. The weight you've carried in faith is beginning to press open doors. The quiet seeds you've sown are breaking through the soil. And you're not entering into a reward, you're stepping into alignment. Like Joseph, who was brought out of prison not by effort, but by timing. Genesis 41:14 says, Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon. God is not bound by human pace. When it's time, he moves suddenly. He opens what no man can shut. Isaiah 55:11 says, My word shall not return to me empty. What he spoke over you still stands, and when he moves, it won't be by chance. It'll be by design. Because you are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not defined by your struggle. You are deeply, eternally, and completely loved. There's a kind of love the world can't explain, and Jeremiah 31:3 reveals its source. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. This love doesn't vanish when you stumble, nor does it grow silent when you doubt. It isn't built on your success, your perfection, or how many spiritual boxes you check. It's rooted in who God is, not who you pretend to be, but who you truly are, even in your most uncertain moments. He's not holding out until you achieve some invisible milestone. He's not waiting to love the polished version of you. He sees the version of you that limps, the one who wrestles with fear and faith in the same breath, and he says, that one is mine. God smiles over your becoming, not just your victories. He delights in the fact that you're still walking, still showing up, still offering him your heart, even when it feels messy. His joy over you is not a concept. It's a reality louder than your fears, more faithful than your failures. The truth is, you're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not too far gone. You're in process, and that process is holy. Isaiah 43:2 promises, When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not consume you. Your struggle was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to refine what cannot be shaken. But transformation doesn't begin with behavior. It begins with identity. That's why so many people wear pain like it's who they are, not realizing that pain is not a name, it's a season. Heaven doesn't label you based on what tried to break you. Heaven sees what you've survived and calls it sacred. When David stood before Goliath, no one saw a champion, but heaven did. His strength wasn't in the sword, it was in his alignment with God's voice. That same calling is on you, to see yourself the way heaven sees you, to say, I'm not what I went through, I'm who God is shaping me to be through it. Proverbs 18:21 reminds us, Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and your words hold the seeds of your future. When fear says, you're falling apart, declare instead, God is building something in me. When comparison whispers, you're behind, respond, God's timing is never late. And when shame tells you you'll never be enough, whisper back, I am chosen, deeply loved, and being made new. This isn't motivational fluff. It's spiritual warfare, realignment with truth. Even rest in this kingdom is not laziness, it's surrender. Exodus 33:14 says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Not as a bonus, as a promise, as a rhythm. Because when you rest in God's presence, your identity resets. Your vision clears. Your fears fall quieter. And in that stillness, you remember, you've changed. You're no longer living just to survive. You've forgiven people who never said sorry. You've let go of things that once defined you. Even if no one else notices, heaven does. Philippians 3:13-14 says, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal." That old version of you isn't your destination. It's your history. And God isn't calling you back. He's calling you forward. So today, let hope rise again. Not because life is always kind, but because God always is. Let yourself believe that peace isn't out of reach, that joy isn't for someone else. Let yourself believe once more that your life is still unfolding under the eyes of a loving, intentional, eternal God. You were never meant to live by the weight of your past. What if your story was never supposed to be measured by what happened behind you, but by the one who walks ahead of you? Psalm 23:6 says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." Not just some days, not just the days you feel strong or faithful or qualified. All the days, even the messy ones, even the days you question your worth or wonder if God still sees you. There's something stirring now, not a conclusion, but a beginning. You're not standing at the edge of your limit. You're standing at the edge of His promise. You've been through storms, yes, but those storms didn't shape your identity. They revealed it. The shadows didn't define you, they refined you. And now, God is bringing what was hidden into the light, not to impress the world, but to remind your soul He's not done. He's never been done. And maybe you've heard it before, you are loved. But let me tell you again, because the weight of that truth doesn't lessen with repetition. You're not just loved, you're known. And not as a project to fix or a soul to pity, but as a person God handcrafted, whose life carries meaning, purpose, and heaven's fingerprints. Isaiah 43:1 reminds us, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." God doesn't just see what you've been through. He sees who you're becoming. Not barely holding it together, not forgotten in the background, but chosen, becoming, rising into what He saw from the beginning. There's a divine shift happening, not because you've perfected the process, not because you've done everything right, but because your heart stayed open to hope, to healing, to Him. And in that openness, transformation takes root. This isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about knowing where your strength comes from. Psalm 121 verses 1 and 2 says, "I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." You're not walking this alone. You never were. God isn't asking you to have all the answers. He's asking if you'll make room. Room in your thoughts, your schedule, your heart, for Him to pour in peace where there was pressure, truth where there was fear, clarity where there was confusion. There's a story in 2 Kings 4 where a widow was down to one small jar of oil. The prophet told her to gather empty vessels. She obeyed, even though she didn't know why. And as long as she had space, the oil kept flowing. That's the mystery and beauty of faith. The oil didn't run out because she made room. So what if today is your moment to make room again? To lay down the lies, the lie that says you're too late, the lie that says your failure disqualifies you, the lie that says you have to earn what God has already given. Romans 8:38-39 declares that nothing can separate us from the love of God. Not your past, not your doubts, not your delays. You're not who you were. And you don't have to go back to old ways of thinking, old labels, or old shame. God has already covered you in dignity. He's already named you courageous. He's already chosen you. The only question left is, will you believe Him? You may not see it yet, but there is a future that still needs the sound of your voice, the depth of your wisdom, the strength of your endurance. There are people waiting to feel safe in your presence, prayers waiting to be prayed through your faith, hope waiting to rise through your healing. So don't rush the process. Don't count yourself out because it's taking longer than you thought. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." That includes you. And if you feel tired, remember this isn't the end of your story. God finishes what He starts. This is not the closing chapter. This is where the oil begins to flow. Walk in this truth. Let it show in how you speak to yourself. Let it rise in your decisions, your rest, your courage to say yes to what is worthy and no to what isn't anymore. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time for everything heaven designed you for. Even now, God is realigning your heart, not to make you perfect, but to make you whole. Not to put pressure on you, but to set you free. Free to be who He already sees. Free to become. So take this with you. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are not who you used to be. You are becoming, and heaven is already clapping.